What's up, everybody? This is Whisky in the 6. I'm Rob. Doing Glencadam 15-year-old. Alright. Unchill filter, no added color. Says so right on the bottle and the box. 46% ABV. This is a Highland malt. Alright. Company's been open since 1825. And they claim to have changed very little, if anything, about the way they make whiskey. It's exclusively aged in ex-bourbon casks. So not very dark at all, as you can tell, like a pale yellow straw color. This has been sitting for about 15 minutes. As many of you know, this is Ralfy's Whiskey of the Year for 2017. And I think for good reason. It's a really nice distillery character forward type whiskey. And what I mean by that is there's no frills here. There's no ex-sherry casks to mask that distillery character of the whiskey. There's no finishes and anything to change it up. This is just ex-bourbon casks, which gives the opportunity for the whiskey to really stand on its own, especially if it's a once or twice used ex-bourbon cask. All right. Many of these ex-bourbon casks are acquired because bourbon can only be aged in new oak barrels. So the remainder of the barrels have to be sold to make any money back on those barrels. So the U.S. ships them out to Scotland or Ireland or pretty much anywhere else that makes whiskey, and they're usually high quality barrels. They usually have a good amount of char on them, which has been taken from the bourbon that was in that cask, so it's a little bit more mellowed out once it's become a second use cask. Alright, which is why these tend to be a lot lighter than bourbons, especially, like I said, if this has had scotch in it once before. All right. It's got a very fruity, sweet kind of nose. You do not pick up that this is 46%. It smells like it's 40%. There's a little bit of a malty note to it. Okay, it's spent 15 years in a barrel, so some of that malty character is gone. Sweet on the nose, there's like honey, fruits like light peaches, maybe some nectarine, something floral about it as well. A little bit of like a powdered sugar as well. Inviting nose. It smells nice. All right, I'm gonna take a sip. Maltiness is a little heavier on the palate, which is nice. It's thicker than it smells. It's stronger than it smells. But both of those are a good thing. Get a light oakiness in it. Peaches definitely follow through on the palate. A little bit of a nuttiness on the finish, like an almond or something like that. And now that I say that, I'm starting to get a little bit of a almond on the nose, almost like an amaretti. There's these special cookies Italians make. They are rounded and they usually have an almond as a decoration right at the top, and that's because in the dough there's crushed almond and a bit of a liqueur. And you get that a little bit on the nose. Right at the start, it's buttery. Sweet, powdered sugar. Fruits like I said, peaches and nectarines. And then on the finish, it's almonds and a little bit of light oak. Maybe some walnut. I like the maltiness of this one, but it's not overly malty. I find younger tomatins really carry a heavy maltiness. This one doesn't have it as much as a tomatin. And the only reason why I bring up a tomatin is because they're both Highlands. Yeah, buttery and malty right off the hop. Goes toward the peaches and nectarines after that, finishing with like an almondy type nuttiness. Very, very nice. I'm going to give this one an 89. I'm going to do one better than Ralfy. I think this is pretty good stuff. It's pretty close to an A+ to me. It probably won't be on my Whiskey of the Year list because I've tried so many great whiskeys, and I do feel that when the distillery character is allowed to make itself known. And what I mean by that is by using these ex-bourbon barrels, you really give the opportunity to the distillery to let their spirit shine. I wish there was maybe a little bit of peat in this one, because I feel like with all those flavors, a little bit of smokiness would have made for the perfect whiskey. But I can't hold that against this whiskey that it doesn't have peat. I think it's excellent on its own. The nose just gets better with time, and as you taste it, you start to smell it a little bit more as well. So overall, it's around an 88, 89. Really, really good stuff. I'd definitely buy a second bottle of this. And I was lucky enough to get this bottle from a very good friend out in Alberta, Daniel from the Whiskey Throttle, or Whiskey Throttle. His channel on YouTube is called Whiskey Throttle. He is reviewing whiskey. He started not that long ago. He's picking up steam. He's already got close to 200 subscribers, and he's just gonna get better. So you guys should jump on now, subscribe to his channel, because he's a really, really cool guy. He knows a lot about whiskey. He collects a ton of whiskey, and he has a beautiful whiskey collection. So eventually he'll open most of those, and you guys will have an opportunity to see some things that is pretty unique in the whiskey YouTube world, because he's been collecting for so many years that he's able to show us whiskeys that we probably never even heard of. I know he showed me whiskeys that I've never heard of. Things that distilleries like Brook Laddie have released 5-6 years ago that I've never even seen before. So pretty cool stuff. Check him out, Whiskey Throttle. His name is Daniel. Daniel, thank you again for the bottle. Really appreciate it. Like I said, that's an 89. I'd probably be inclined to go a little bit less if pushed, but I don't know if I'd go any more than 89. But like I said, I'd buy that bottle because it's really good stuff. So if you can grab it, I highly recommend you do so. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can also check me out on Patreon. Cheers, guys.